Hey everybody, Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios here, and it is a beautiful spring day once again, and we're a couple of weeks out from the launch of Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux. Very exciting, and not much time to spare, but I thought I'd get a quick video in today, because someone asked me the other day, hey Ollie, what is the difference between Swords and Sandals Crusader Classic and Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux? And I thought, well, maybe I haven't done a good enough job of explaining that without really, going into a lot of detail and looking at the points on the Steam page and so on. On the surface, it might look like they're a very similar game. So today I wanted to go into a little bit of a comparison between the two games. I'm going to play the first campaign for both Swords and Sandals Crusader Classic and Redux. And as we talk, I'll explain to you a little bit of the differences between the games and kind of what I left out of the original and what I changed. So I hope you will find this interesting. All right, without further ado, let's jump in to Swords and Sandals Crusader Classic first up. So I'm, of course, playing the Classic Collection version of Swords and Sandals Crusader, which has had a few patches and things, but is essentially the same game that you'll find from way back in 2007. 13 years ago, can you believe it? So we're going to play that one now. Of course, Classic Collection is available on Steam if you've never picked it up, and you get all these games here. 1, 2, 3, 4 Crusader, Mini Fighters, Gross Out, which is like a weird little spin-off, not even a spin-off, a weird little other kind of game using the same game engine. Bizarre game, but some people seem to like it, so I include it in the collection. Crusader is what we're playing though. Crusader! Woo-hoo. I actually have recorded a theme song, just at least the kind of introduction for a theme song for Redux, but I don't know if I'll use it because it's kind of crap. We'll see. Needs some work. All right. So first of all, this is Crusader. This was made in pure Flash, right? So different title screen, play the game. One thing you'll notice about all the classic games versus the Redux games is they're kind of animated more. There's more animation in them, and that's because Flash itself was actually an excellent animation tool. I now have been using Starling, which is like a version of Flash that is designed for mobiles and desktops and so on, but it's using a different system that doesn't use vector animation, vector art. This is all vectors, which means it's not bitmaps. It's using kind of line drawings and mathematics to draw a lot of these. The backgrounds, of course, are bitmaps, but the characters themselves, and that's why they look nice and sharp, and I wish I could replicate that, but one of the things to get these working on mobile and so on is that had to go because it just didn't support it, unfortunately, in the way that I wanted. So Crusader Redux, Crusader Classic, both have these game modes: campaign, quick battle, survival, and conquer the realm. Load a campaign, 3 campaigns in both of them. For the most part, it's the same text as well from the game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my webcam so you can see a bit more of the game screen. But there's a lot less music and sound in the original Crusader because these files had to be tiny back in the day, so I had to keep the game small, and I couldn't have more than a couple of sound effects. Same missions for the most part, but in the Redux version, I've added an extra mission per chapter just to sort of take advantage of some of the new gameplay mechanics I've got. So, and here's our Overland Map. I've actually reused this for Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux as a bonus. So by default, you get an all-new map, which I've done, but I've also done a more high-res version of this that you can toggle on and off, because I know some people like the classic. The UI is different over here. Firstly, you don't have anything like morale. You don't have, you can't improve provinces. You just basically got, here's your options here. You can dig, transfer army, view your crusader, buy troops, about faithful. If you have a look here, you can't actually improve the province like you can in Redux. armies don't have morale or anything. It has this cool little circular navigation system, which is kind of nice, but wouldn't work on mobile because those buttons are way too small and it takes up too much of the visible area. So the buttons in Redux are now down the bottom. This one's very much based on Defender of the Crown in a huge part. One thing you don't also have is all the extra panels up the top, which tell you how many troops you have versus how many troops the enemy has. You don't have much information about your powers, any of that kind of stuff. You basically have sound particles. That's it. You can dig. Hang on. Nothing here. Notice how quiet it is. There's nothing in the way of music and so on. There's some birds tweeting and so on. It's a really bare bones version of the game. If I buy troops, how do you buy troops again? I gotta be on the province that you're on. Okay, I think that doesn't have to be the case anymore. Same troop images here. I use the same character animations and artwork as the original because I wanted it to be to basically be representative of the original game. I didn't want to change it too much. Plus, that's a lot. There's like 60 to 80 troops or something in there. But you can upgrade them in the Redux version as well, which is kind of cool. So let's have so the parlay panel is different in the Redux version. You have like character on the left, character on the right. They have a bit more dialogue. There's much more sort of flavor text and that kind of thing. Let's take the field. I'm going to show you a battle. The perspective is a bit more zoomed out in the original Crusader. I've zoomed it in a bit more to make it more intimate in Redux. One thing that I do miss from the original is that see how these guys have different weapons they're holding? Because I'm no longer using vectors, I'm using bitmaps and sprite sheets. I got a limited amount of space, unfortunately. It sounds weird considering Redux is a much newer game, but I don't have as much space on a sprite sheet to have all these different animations for weapons and art and so on, weapons and armor and things. So unfortunately the light troops all hold the same weapon. Okay, so in the original you can't put your leader onto the field. You can cast some spells, but you can't bring them out into the field to do battle. And your troops have a few different attacks and their stats up here. But there's no real kind of... And of course, battle is a little bit more rigid and I feel like doesn't have the same cool flow as the new one where you... Okay. And each turn kind of goes for a little bit longer. There's probably a little bit more blood on the ground in the classic version as well, which is kind of interesting. Do another ferocious attack. You basically have a lot less in terms of options in a regular battle in the classic versus what you can do in a Redux, where you can, cast spells, inspire the troops, you can flee, you can heal your troops, that kind of stuff. Let's cast Airstrike. Some nice little vector animations there, which unfortunately I had to lose for the Redux, which kind of sucks. But there's a lot more backgrounds and a lot more new art in the Redux as well. All right, so we defeated that army. Hurrah! So I know at the beginning of this video I'd said I'd play through a whole campaign, but we don't really need to. We only need to play through one mission to really understand the difference between the two games. I wonder if I can lay siege to his castle. So, try and dig there. Okay, we got the mission. That was a digging mission. When you're a crusader, you will conquer them all. In the original, anyone can cast Raise Dead, but I've made it as part of the Redux that only Antares can because it makes it much more of a unique power for him. And also in the original, you have up to 10 levels of power, but there's much more subtlety in between how much power they actually have. Whereas in the Redux, you have a lot more, an upgrade is much more visible as far as how much more it does. And in the Redux, you can change your leader's stats, his attack, defense, health, and that kind of thing, because he actually can fight as a troop. So we're going to try do a quick siege. Once we get enough money for it. Colossus battles, of course, are new in Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux, and they are much more powerful. They have proper turn-based fighting, that kind of thing. How much is a siege engine? Okay, let's buy that. Catapult. Sandolphin. We can't afford him yet, but what we'll do is we'll head down to Taj Brandir. All the locations have moved around a little bit. That Taj Brandir is over there now on the Redux map and everything, because the lore of the game changed a fair bit since this original. As you know, I basically made it much more of a, cohesive world, essentially. I keep clicking on that to close. In the Redux version, you can just double click on a province to go there, and I've been kind of used to that now, so buy some more troops. Can we afford him? No. Get some ranged troops. So we'll take the field. Sieges are really simple and kind of like a mini game in this one. I never really liked them. It basically was like a flash mini game. You could kind of you had to time it like that, and it never really felt like a real siege. In the Redux version, you can ram the castle walls. You can pour boiling oil. You can smash the walls with your colossi and everything like that. All right. So let's send Sandolphin into battle. I feel like turns are a little slower in the original Crusader as well. It just seems like, to me, they're a bit different. But there's a couple of nice effects in the original which I had to lose. I said it before, but Flash, original just regular Flash was so awesome for animation. These are all vectors and just meant I could animate things. Everyone always says my animation style has changed. It hasn't changed, just the technology's changed. And I stayed on this technology for far too long. When it comes times for Swords and Sandals 6, I'll be using an entirely new game engine, which will allow me to have a lot more nice animation in the games, I promise. It's one thing I've really missed in the Redux games. That excellent rock music. We've actually changed, we've not changed it, I've done an updated version. A guy called Electro, who's an awesome musician, has done a remaster and remake of that heavy metal theme for the Redux. He took us out, damn it. So in a nutshell, I feel like Classic is it's a simpler game. It's still a lot of fun, but it's definitely has a lot less in terms of what you can really do. And once you've seen a few missions, you've kind of seen them all, really. Send in these guys. Oh, that Primate's powerful. He's really he's causing some grief for us. Come on, guys. None of us able to touch him. You know what? I think we need to call down an airstrike on this guy. I've had enough. I forgot I could do that. He survived. In the Redux, he would have taken a bit of damage. And in the Redux, he got a bit more information about how much health he's got. Big kind of heart up the top and everything. We just cannot seem to land a blow on this guy. Out of command points. In the Redux version as well, you get 2 powers per attack per battle. In this one, it's more like you have command points, and it kind of allowed you to sort of spam spells a bit too much, and I didn't really like that. I wanted the spells to be a bit more like this is a special thing. It feels like the battles drag out a lot more in the original as well. The new ones, they're over faster, and they there's more at stake, it feels like. Plus, in the new one, you can have more troops on the battlefield, up to 100 troops, which I think, I'm not sure if that was possible in Classic. Might have been about half that, because there was a limit to how many vector sprites you'd have on the screen before it slowed down. Come on, take him out! Hurry up! You know what? I don't know if we're going to get this guy. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to flee. And of course, in the original, you had this sort of nice little animated panels like that, which I had to lose. Alright, so that is Swords and Sandals Crusader Classic. Now, I'm going to play Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux through 1 or 2 missions, just so you can see the difference and what's, changed and what's new. Alright, I'll jump over to that game now. Alright, over to Crusader Redux, beta version, of course. One of the things you're going to notice is it just feels more polished. In my mind, it does anyway. Lots more sound, lots more special effects, better art for all the backgrounds and UI and everything. Let's go new game.
Choose a game.
We're going to go campaign. New game.
Chapter 1.
In the Redux version, the other game modes are locked off until you reach a certain part of the game, because I don't want to spoil all the, all the extra characters and stuff like that. There's also voice narration in the game. Just nice big art like this. It feels like a more polished game. The art, the music, the text in the game is pretty much the same. I've refined a few things and changed some things, but it's for the most part the same story as the classic one. And new UI for everything. First thing you notice when you load the game up,
Welcome.
a lot more information on the left here. You got who's in the garrison, how much does your army cost per turn, what's the morale cost, how much is in your treasury, is this province improved, what's your experience. Your buttons are down the bottom now. I feel like it's a more professional, cleaner layout. It doesn't feel like a Flash game so much anymore. Also, up here you have, stats about your army. You got your rankings. Of course, we're the only character in the game for mission 1. Stats about your leader. You can find out what does each spell do. Here in the a lot of people ask about. I wish I knew what each spell did. Now you can find out by there. You got your stats for your leader. Stuff about each province, who owns it, nice backgrounds and so on. Plus a full orchestrated soundtrack with dozens of songs, which is really cool. Or move. The idea for this one is raise 500 gold pieces for your treasury. Double click to move now. It's a much more streamlined way to move. In the mobile version, there'll also be ways to move down the bottom there in case the provinces are too tiny for you. When you buy troops, you've got a more detailed panel there. You can upgrade. You can see their stats and everything. It just feels to me like a nicer way to do things. We don't need to buy any troops right now. Let's dig.
The dig was a success.
I've kept a lot of the same little icons and so on from the original because I wanted it to, not feel like I've, changed everything. Also new in the game, which I actually just put in yesterday, these adventures. I don't know if you remember in the original, these tiny little choose your adventures. There was about sort of 30 or 40 of them. In this new one, there's well over 100. And they appear on the map in various parts. And if you can get to them in time, they sort of disappear after, Actually, no, they don't disappear. They disappear if someone else moves onto them. Sometimes adventures appear. Sometimes gold appears. Sometimes golden sandals appear, which will appear up here. And if you get enough of them, you'll be able to summon a sorcerer to help you. Let's go over there. Do another dig.
The dig was a success.
Ah, it's moved. Okay, so I'm still working on that. It's not supposed to move so quickly. We'll see if we can get over to it. So if we go here. Okay, that's a treasure trove one. So that's supposed to be an adventure, but in an ancient tomb in Gallerstones, your soldiers discover a chest worth 265 gold. And you've also got adventures there as well, but that was showing a treasure. Okay, mission complete. Hurrah!
The mission has been completed.
Plus you get this awesome triumphant music when you win missions. You didn't get that in the original. Okay, new mission. The missions have changed a little bit in terms of like the parameters and, you know, based on what is sort of how the gameplay has changed in the Redux, because morale has a bigger impact, troop costs and everything like that. You got tactics now. You can sort of choose if you want to garrison lands, auto-assign soldiers. Tournaments are new, so you can actually fight in duels, go cliff diving, fight on horseback and so on, that kind of thing. So we're going to build up our troops. We're going to go over there and we'll have a little fight with one of these guys so I can show you an actual battle. Also, leveling up. You have your stats here. Let's get an airstrike going because that's a Lionel special. And head to the garrison. Let's buy... You can upgrade these guys too. Let's upgrade them. Castle footmen. Crown footmen. Royal footmen. So their stats have gotten a lot better now. Buy 10 of them. Get some bowmen. And take on this garrison. You got power scores as well, which tell you how powerful your size is versus theirs. As a little bit, I'm funny going back and playing the original just today. I prefer this version infinitely. You may be more nostalgic for the original, but I kind of love this version. This is the version I should have made if I'd had time and the expertise I have now. Let's take the field, trounce them. You got some nice little animated introductions as they arrive. You can use your powers, you can psych up your troops, you can hold fast for extra defense. Lionel can come to the front. He also has powers you can use. Let's fire our arrows at their ranged troops. Send our light troops in defensive attack. Took down their cavalry, that was good. And fire our arrows at this guy. This is just a little garrison. Normally you're doing auto battle against a pathetic garrison like that, but I just wanted to show you a simple battle.
You have won the battle.
All right.
An enemy leader is
Okay, so Boris has come and attacked us, and he says, "Fine and pretty king in your fancy regalia. I will tear down the walls of your castles and see you and your people living in the mud and offal like base animals soon enough." His accent keeps changing every time when I do one of these videos. "You sons of frost are the ones who live like animals. The people of Fatal may prefer running water and hot baths, but I assure you we can fight. Draw arms, for battle is upon you," says King Lionel. You can also seek counsel from the king to see 60% chance of victory, plus 5 morale. If you don't have a good chance of victory, the little fat kid tells you so, and you lose some morale. Let's take the field. Again, lots more sound and music and special effects, that kind of thing. So use our powers, airstrike these guys. Lots more little flavor text as well. Things like, the king saying, "My attack." And he's going to use an airstrike on us as well. Okay, you don't want to send the ranged troops in a melee attack unless you can avoid it. If you can avoid it. It feels like that is a faster paced combat than the old one. I don't know if you agree, but let's send our... oh, he's cast another spell on us. We'll send our king into battle though. He's quite powerful with 110 health. There's our morale over there. That's how many powers we can use. But if he falls, it's all over. Let's do a furious attack. But yeah, he slices through those guys. You can also use powers on the field for fun. I turned that off before, but now you can use it again. Let's do Psych Up. Everyone gets +1 attack for next turn. They've used that as well. We got him. Balls didn't even appear on the field because he was too afraid. He's the only one that survived. A sandal has appeared. One of the golden sandals to find. So once you find that, we'll see if we can get down there in time. I'm actually still working on that today and yesterday, so it may not get there in time. It's supposed to last for a while, but... The golden sandals we discovered at Summerton. Awesome. You have now got one. Find 2 of them to summon help from Bargle. King Lionel and his allies can summon Bargle. The others, the neutral heroes, can summon a different wizard, and the evil heroes summon another wizard. And they basically can, grant you extra gold, take lands for you, even aid you in battle, which is kind of fun. Okay, it's appeared over there now. So you can chase that down if you wish. It's just a little sort of almost a side quest. Well, I think that's kind of enough for now. I feel like I've shown you enough of the 2 games for you to decide for yourself what the difference between them is, and if you prefer the Redux or the original. I can't wait for you to try this, because this is a much deeper game. There's a bunch of things I haven't shown you, like the tournaments and like the Colossus battles, summoning wizards. I love this version, and I can't wait to share it with you. The game, of course, launches on October 9th, which is a Friday, on Steam. So I'd love you to wishlist it. I know I say this every video, but please, if you are interested at all, please wishlist the game, because it really helps me out and helps it rise in the visibilities on Steam. It's one of those things. It's like a weird algorithm you got to try and beat. I'm trying to spread the word about the game and push it as much as I can, but I'm up against juggernauts here, people with a lot more money than I do, spending much on advertising and so on. Anyway, thanks for being with me today. If you enjoy the Swords and Sandals videos and enjoy spending time with me each week, new videos each Tuesday or Wednesday until I get more time on this, and then I'll do more videos, then please, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. You know the drill. Thanks for all your questions and comments and just general enthusiasm about not only Swords and Sandals Crusader, about Swords and Sandals in general. It's much appreciated. There's a new music track has appeared in the background. That's kind of eerie. We'll stop that because it's a little bit too scary for a random Wednesday. Until next time, my friends, bye for now.